So, let's go to Section 4 of the Executive Department. Alright, let's look at the law. Let's look at the law. The President and the Vice President shall be elected by direct vote of the people for a term of 6 years, which shall begin at noon on the 30th day of June, next following the day of the election, and shall end at noon of the same date 6 years thereafter. Self-explanatory. So, I think ang dapat lang pong tandaan dito is yung term nila, the term which should be 6 years. And the President shall not be eligible for any re-election. So, re-election, hindi pwede. And no person who has succeeded as President and has served as such for more than 4 years shall be qualified for election to the same office at any time. So, nag-succeed ka as President, pwedeng kang mag-succeed. But, kung more than 4 years na ang pag-serve mo, served as such for more than 4 years, yun ang bawal ka nang ma-re-elect as President. Alright? Next, paragraph, paragraph 2, still in Section 4. No Vice President, so ang pinag-usapan natin is the Vice President shall serve for more than 2 consecutive terms. So, pwedeng re-election, pero once lang. No. Dapat hindi consecutive. Alright? So, ito yung limitation dyan. 2 consecutive terms, hindi pwede. Voluntary renunciation, again, of the office for any length of time shall not be considered as an interruption. Basta pag may voluntary renunciation, hindi siya interruption in the continuity of the service for the full term for which he was elected. Paragraph 3. Unless otherwise provided by law, the regular election for President and Vice President shall be held on the second Monday of May. For me, hindi gaanong important, pero tandaan na rin, the returns of every election for President and Vice President duly certified by the Board of Canvassers of each province or city shall be transmitted to the Congress, directed to the President of the Senate. Not very much important, pero yun, itatransmit nga sa Congress and directed to the President of the Senate. Upon receipt of the certificates of canvass, the President of the Senate shall not later than 30 days, so ito lang yung allowable period, after the day of the election, open all certificates in the presence of the Senate and the House of Representatives in joint public session. I think kailangan itong tandaan na information pag nag-open siya joint public session. And the Congress, upon determination of the authenticity and due execution thereof in the manner provided by law, canvass the votes. So before sila mag-canvass, they have to determine the authenticity and the due execution. Right? So, next paragraph, the person having the highest number of votes shall be proclaimed elected. But in case 2 or more shall have an equal and highest number of votes, one of them shall forthwith be chosen by the vote of a majority of all the members of both houses of the Congress, voting separately. So, ito ang mangyayari in case there is a tie. Magbobotohan ang houses of Congress, voting separately. Vote of a majority of all the members of both houses, voting separately. I think, kailangan natin tandaan yan. In case there's a tie. Sa pagka-pangulo at vice-presidente. The Congress shall promulgate its rules for the canvassing of the certificates, not so important. The Supreme Court sitting en banc shall be the sole judge of all contests relating to the election returns and qualifications of the President and Vice President and may promulgate its rules for the purpose. Very important to. Ito yung tinatawag na Presidential Electoral Tribunal. And, yun, the Supreme Court sitting en banc, sole judge of ERQ, election returns qualifications of the President and Vice President. And so, as recap sa Section 4, yung term, pwede ba ma-re-elect ang President? Hindi. mag-engage in re-election, hindi. Tas, pwede ka namang mag-succeed as president, but if you have served for more than 4 years, hindi na pwede mag-run as president. Sa VP, ang limitation is not more than 2 consecutive terms. This voluntary renunciation. Ang importante lang dito, pag in case there will be a tie, vote of a majority of all the members of both houses of Congress voting separately. Tapos, Presidential Electoral Tribunal, sole judge of all contests.